Be careful.
He's and Scott Higgins, both of them coked up out of their minds.
Listen to you. He's down in the basement. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I think we should call this the Acement.
The Acement, yes.
Yeah, what do you think there, huh?
I like that. The Acement Studios.
Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Hold on a second.
We usually drink bourbon on our end
Yeah,
when we
right.
do the podcast, so
That's all right.
feel free to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot an 8-ball if you want. We don't care, as long as it's good stories.
Welcome to the Acement, everybody. It's time to go behind the funny. This is Scott Higgins.
And this is Ace Aceto.
And welcome to a very special episode of Behind the Funny.
Yes, it is.
It is the It's Not About You, Brian episode.
I think that's what we should call it. It's not about you, Brian.
It's not about you, Brian.
Oh, we've been wanting to do this show for how long? Look, we already have 13 viewers. Like, usually it trickles up. It trickles up to 2 to 5. There's already 17. So many people want to see Carla without Brian. Yay, get closer. Have you never used a microphone before?
Can you hear me? Hello,
yes,
testing.
now we can.
Okay.
You got engaged on the air. You know how a microphone can work.
That's true, too.
All right. So we have had our guest on twice before.
Yes.
In the Meet the Mulherns and then the Return of the Mulherns.
Yes.
Where we
Fabulous
spoke to our
episodes.
good friend Brian Mulhern and his lovely wife Carla. And poor Carla. All we got was, you could hear Brian talking, and all we got from Carla was like, yeah, why did I marry you? Shut up. Stop talking. So we were we threatened Brian. We were we're going to get Carla on one time.
I don't think
without
he honestly
you.
thought
I don't think he thought
we were
I'd really
ever gonna
reach
do
out.
this.
No, that episode was the first one was a bad. I'm gonna date myself. This is your life, except all
Well,
horrible
at least she's in the
things.
60s and not the 20s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'll be going between 20s, 60s, and 80s.
Yeah,
just so
right.
you know, yeah.
At least it was a talkie.
That's right, babe. We're going to put you in the talkie.
You notice she got gussied up tonight, did you?
That's right.
Oh, first, wait, we forgot our bourbon date. I can't even. So, this is compliments of our guests. So,
Yes.
first of all, welcome Carla
Thank
Mulhern
you.
to the show.
Thank you.
Our good friend Carla. When Carla comes in, we don't drink turpentine, as she says. She brings the good stuff. She brings the stuff that has a screw cap. So I think the first time it was the peanut butter, whiskey. The second time, the first time was peanut butter whiskey and chocolate wine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a fun night.
Yes,
Tongues were a little loose by the end of that one.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
There was a lot of snorting going on
Loose
by the
lips
end.
sink ships, as they said in the 20s. So, and then last time you brought a different kind of whiskey, but I don't remember. Was it?
I think I brought
Wasn't
the
that-
same kind.
Oh, it was
No,
the
I
same
thought it was
peanut
like
butter
an
one.
old Smoky Mountain.
Oh, maybe it's
Oh, it was. It was Old Smoky Mountain peanut butter.
Oh, maybe.
That was
Okay.
it. It was the
Was
peanut
it?
butter.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't Screwball. It was a
no,
different
that's
kind,
what it was,
Because it actually
right.
wasn't as sweet as Screwball.
Right.
It's good.
Right.
This time we have Doughball.
Named after me.
Yes, named after Scott. And it is cookie dough whiskey.
Cookie dough.
So we'll be baking cookies
Yes,
later.
because we need to cover the taste of the turpentine.
Yes, the
With
turpentine.
heavily syruped
So-
cookie dough.
Have you
Here's to
tried
you,
it?
doll
Yeah.
face.
That's right, Dame. Thanks for coming out on the town.
Yeah, it's
We're
a big
cutting
night
a
out.
rug.
Here
As
we
soon as
go.
I take a sip of this, we're going to light up a Lucky Strike and really tie our tongues.
What do you think?
We should have had a. It's good.
It's good.
We should have had a bet on how long into the show before Scott said "Lucky Strike," because he likes.
That's
that.
the only type of cigarette I know
know.
from back
I
then.
know.
Was Lucky Strikes.
You did even did the good Charleston dance theme too. You're pretty good at that.
Ba-da-da-da-da.
Oh,
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Anyway,
I don't even have my slide whistle.
So,
I feel all out of place now. Give it to me, Charlie. That's right.
We're wacky. Hey, we're the Wacky Morning Show.
That's right. Weather around the 10s.
It's 8:15 and traffic is horrible out there. We're also making fun of her husband now, which
Yes.
that's what this whole show is about. So we've had you and Brian on
Yes.
multiple times, and we really did want to get you on so that you could just kind of talk about
I'll cry.
from your perspective or cry. Yes.
By the end of us, we're all like, why did you marry him?
Yeah. We feel so bad.
And
No.
then there was the time.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
As I said to you earlier today, I spared you the bedroom tour, the whole 3.5 minutes, as we said
I
on
gave
the first
5.
show.
I gave you 5.
I know. I appreciate that.
know.
But it
Talk
doesn't-
about an overestimation.
I know. Hey. Oh. By the way, did you notice our ice balls look like boobs?
No, I didn't. No, they look like little
Death Stars.
BB-8s or Death
Or BB-8s?
Stars.
Yes, yes, they do.
Wow.
So
not
we're-
where I thought anybody was going with
Okay.
them.
All right. Never mind.
Looks like when the bull said it's about 2
It's
o'clock.
about 2 o'clock. Yeah. So how have you been, Carla?
I've been lovely. How are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your what's been going on at the Mulhern house, because a lot's been going on.
Yeah.
With Brian, right?
There's a lot. There's always a lot.
Yeah.
A lot going on every single day with Brian. I will say he is working a job.
Yes.
And
He's employed.
She said that like that's the accomplishment.
they're
Yeah.
very,
He's
they're
working a
very,
job.
They're working a job. They
He's
really
got 2
like him.
jobs now.
He's got 2 jobs. So he does
Right.
the show that the job he's doing now, and then he's with, I think you had Jackson and he on.
Yeah, a couple
so
of
they're
months
doing
ago.
Jackson
So
and the
that went
Pharmacist.
live.
Yep, and it's actually, it's really, really good.
You sounded
Yeah.
surprised.
Well, no.
It's actually really
It's
good. I don't know
really
what the
good.
hell
Well,
happened.
because it's not, they don't have, right now, they can't have anyone call in and things like that. But
Right.
it's actually, they both have great chemistry together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I've-
both kind of, complement one another.
Exactly. I've been able to listen for a little bit. I haven't been able to listen to a whole show, but you can definitely tell. And based on Brian's 2 a.m. posts, they absolutely have that rapport. What are you getting? Messages of people watching?
That one
Is it
person.
Brian?
No, it's not.
Stop talking about me.
Well,
Wow, that was a pretty good impression, wasn't it?
That's not bad.
It's almost like a version of George Costanza. Say Vandalay! Say Vandalay!
you were like the little devil on Brian's shoulder, the
Yeah.
little devil version of Brian just then.
Exactly. Yeah, so I mean, the show is doing great.
Yeah.
But you can tell they immediately gelled back together after not being
Yeah,
on
it
the air
didn't take
together
them
for a
long at
while.
all. That's not an issue at all.
Yeah.
Right.
They play well off each other. Jackson is a good yin to Brian's depressive yang.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, the clip that we pulled when we had the 2 of them on, Brian started talking about, and when the station manager, and he goes, "Are you talking about that shit still? Get over it."
He's got like this
Like-
little embedded sound now, so when Brian starts talking, it's like, wah, wah. You know?
Wait a minute. Here's Brian,
Crash and burn.
and here's Jackson.
Exactly.
Yin
Exactly.
yang.
So that's good. They're
Yeah.
doing good.
It's good for everybody.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because we heard some, pretty horrific stories of, what it was like living with Brian during the unemployment period, and what it was.
Her body language just changed.
Yeah,
her
I'm
face.
sorry, I didn't mean to depress you, but this is fun for us.
I mean, it was terrible. But then part of it is he if he could just sit here and stare at that wall till he died, he'd be happy.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just wants to just be. When he was not working, he was very content.
Yeah.
I'm not built that way. I have
Right.
to be. When
Moving.
I wasn't working, it was a nightmare.
I actually feel guilty because me, my job, I'm running,
You're-
traveling. I mean, I was in Maryland last night, got home, went to Connecticut today. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There are weekends where sometimes, and especially when I don't have my kids with me when they're with their mom, there are days where I wake up on a Saturday and I'll wake up at maybe 9 o'clock. I do nothing but sit on the couch for like 4 hours, just drinking coffee, binge watching TV. And I, at the end of the 4 hours, feel guilty.
Me too.
Right?
Like I should be doing something. And then everyone's like, you need to relax. I'm like, I just feel, you get down the rabbit hole of like watching something on your phone.
Right.
And you're like,
Yeah.
okay. Then you feel, I'm not. It's not.
See, I wish I
that
could
way.
feel that way, but I don't.
Oh,
No,
that's a
but
good
I-
thing,
I
though.
no,
don't.
I wish I could feel like you, where
Me
I'm
too.
not
Where I-
guilty about it.
My wife's like you guys.
Yeah.
A Saturday, we'll grab a cup of coffee. We'll turn something on TV. After one episode or something, she goes, "All right,
what are we doing?
What are we going to work on? What are we going to do?" And I'm like, "I'm going to watch another episode. I don't know what you're doing."
There's
But
3 seasons to this show.
Yeah, we're on season 1 of 9.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we got to get moving.
We're going through 4 at least.
Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up,
You know,
Buttercup.
Monday's a holiday. We can get through all of this.
But it's Game of Thrones. It's so goddamn long, and we've already seen it 4 times. Shut up.
I have to plan ahead to do something on, like, I got to say to
Saturday.
myself,
Yeah.
Saturday, I'm going to work on this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'll get up and I'll go work on it. But if I don't have a plan, I'm fine with
Yeah.
sitting there and
Yeah.
chilling.
See, I literally got a text today from the group of guys that I golf with.
Yep.
And one of them said, "Hey, we've got a spot open, 10 o'clock, Foster Country Club, 10 o'clock on Saturday." This is how my brain thought. Scott and I have a show at 8 o'clock that night. I was literally sitting there going, should I do it? How long of a day is that going to be if I golf and then have to do a show that night? I seriously waited an hour before I got back to him and was like, okay, I'm in. And then, of course, after all that
I
deliberation,
might have to cut out early. I got
No.
a show that night.
after all that deliberation in my head,
They canceled?
No, he goes, well, of course it's going to be pending rain because there's a fucking hurricane coming up the East Coast.
Oh, that's right.
I go, oh shit. So I looked and it looked like it was just no rain, but just really windy.
Yeah.
And the way my ball goes,
That might help you.
it might actually help my slice, you know? But so, because he, honestly, as much as we're busting balls, he went from having nothing to do
Yeah.
to literally he's working for the news, the whatever that service
He's doing
is
writing.
called,
Right, yeah.
writing service. Then he's got the show. They're up to 5 days a week now, right?
yeah.
Every day, 3 o'clock, 3 to 5. Awesome show. Again, we're going to plug it again. Ground Control Radio Network.
Yeah,
it's an app. Very easy to download. The rest of the time, they play a lot of really good music, especially for me. I love rock.
Right.
It's like hard rock music, Stone Temple Pilots,
Yep.
stuff like that.
They have different shows.
And they do have different
Yep.
shows. They have a morning show. Right now, that, like you said, Carla, they're not set up to be able to take callers and stuff
not
yet.
yet.
They will be, though.
But it will.
Yeah.
And so he's doing good. So he's got the service. He's got that. And then, you know, he came on and he talked about it. And we're going to have him back on to talk about it once it's in production. But, you know, Brian wrote this play called The Butterfly Boys about his experience, loosely based on his experience with losing his mom to COVID.
Correct.
Well, now it's finally being produced, and now it's weird because and I feel honored that he asked me to be in it. I'm playing his younger brother, and it's great because the kid that they have playing the little version of me, I said to Brian, I said, whoever you pick, that kid has the best funny lines because obviously it's a drama.
Yeah.
But there's a character, my character, and this little kid that are there to break up the tension
Right.
with some humor. The kid is a kid that was in A Christmas Carmela, Frank O'Donnell's play with me last year.
That's great.
And I know the kid already. Like I'm like, oh my God, Luke, I totally had you in mind when they were saying that there needed to be a younger version of this character.
Well, I was going to say, plus if it's based on his real life experience, him and his brother are funny.
Right,
So there
right.
should be some of that personality in those
it's
characters.
that interplay between
So,
them.
you know, it's funny you say that he could be content staring at the wall because, you know, a lot of creative people, which he is a very creative person, aren't real happy when they're stuck not creating, because like 2020 when a lot of people were stuck home, like us being performers, not being able to do shows, you know, I know people that were actors and they couldn't do plays, and bands that couldn't go out and perform. That's when we got cranky and testy and really weighed on us because we couldn't go out, we didn't have that outlet.
Right, exactly.
You know, so for somebody like him not having that, our people already saying stuff.
I'm sorry. I just checked the
Oh
comments.
no.
I'm just surprised that someone like him, I would think that he would want to be creating,
I know. Well, I think. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's
But
a
it
good question.
depends. But again, like you said, we all know it's well documented, the depression. And when you're depressed, you don't, depending on the type of depression, you don't have motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it. He probably goes back and forth between feeling happy and feeling fulfilled, or at least feeling fulfilled and wanting to be busy, and then other times where he just doesn't want to do anything.
During his downtime, was there a moment that just drove you crazy? Come on.
We got a whiteboard up there if you want to write them all down. We'll write
How much
the
time do
top
we have?
10 things that pissed Carla off.
We got to get something going here with those stories.
Brian,
In other words, she hasn't talked enough shit, and you want her to start.
Well, we need some
talking.
shit stories. This time.
Well, wait. Before you do that, I am going to read some of the comments. So,
okay.
Lauren Blanchett says hi, Carla. Denise says hi, Carla, and then Lauren says, "Yeah, we know who wears the pants in the family." And then Brian, because of course he's watching.
Of course.
Now she's going to clam up. No,
she's
don't
not.
clam
This
up.
might unleash the beast.
He goes, "Fuck you! It's always about me," because we said it's always about him.
Because the title of the show, it's not about you,
Yeah.
Brian.
Thank God Brian has you in his corner for today. Charlene said too
Till
funny.
8:05. No.
So yeah. So what are some of the things? I think you even talked about it because you said like the whole house could tell when the bear was awake because you'd hear him like upstairs
yeah.
talking to himself.
Like I could just sit, like, all right, so like a Saturday, it's peaceful. I'm having my coffee. Usually I'm watching Seinfeld or something.
Yeah.
And then you hear, and you hear the door shut. And I'm like,
It's like a haunted house.
He's up. Yeah. There he comes.
Except the ghost is still alive.
And then like immediately he'll come downstairs, and I don't know how this happens. He immediately has bad news. It's first thing in the morning. Guess what? Blah, 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 blah. And it's on something. And I'm like, good morning. Or sometimes he'll say good, really quick good morning, and then blah, 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 and he'll start on something. I'm like, how does that happen? How do you have bad news the minute you wake up? Every day of your friggin' life. How does that happen? So I just prepare. So I just go somewhere in my head. I, kind of hum the Jeopardy theme. And then,
Because that's a minute.
and once his mouth's done, I know he's done, so I can move on. That's how I get through my day, fellas. That's it.
The
Fellas.
Jeopardy theme. That's what gets you through your day.
Play that on that thing. Can you do that?
That's not bad.
How's that?
Yeah.
How's that, KC Masterpiece?
Nicely done.
Never even had a lesson,
Look at
folks.
that.
That's an FU, Brian. That's an FU.
That's an FU, Brian.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
was very,
He's
that was
pulling
very
out
good.
all the weapons tonight.
That's right.
That's very good.
No,
very
that's
good.
so. So yeah, I remember you saying that he would come downstairs automatically have bad news.
All the time.
And has it gotten better?
No.
There was
That
no
was-
hesitation at all. You notice that?
That gun was cocked, loaded.
No.
Ready to go.
No. No.
That's just an innate character
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
trait that he has that is just
Right.
ready to go.
Yeah. I remember. This is sad, but his mom
Get
had
closer
passed.
to the mic.
His mom had passed.
Yeah.
And then, I knew, we went through that, and then Eddie Van Halen passed. And someone.
He took that harder than his.
No.
I thought she was going to
No,
say
but
that.
someone had texted me and said, he was napping. He was,
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, and you're like,
you
I'm not
get,
saying
I'm like,
shit.
I am getting the fuck out of this house. Where am I going to go? 'Cause
Right.
I knew. And then he came downstairs because I had like 7 or 8 people. Like, did you hear? How's Brian? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, Eddie Van Halen died. I'm like, oh no, oh my god. And it's still continuing
out
to
of
this
the
day.
house.
I was like, where can I go? Who can I stay with for like a long period of time? Because this is going to be a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, it was.
He did take that hard.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
his hero, I
We all
know.
know we have that. For me, it's Karate Kid.
We know.
That's my hero.
Ralph
yeah.
Macchio. himself.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Everything about that movie.
Yeah.
Well, I've
I
seen
have a problem.
I've
with it.
seen the pictures, but I wasn't sure if it was Johnny or Daniel.
All.
That was
She liked them both.
Miyagi, I like them all.
Yeah.
The whole movie. Yeah. Everything about
All
it.
three of them.
Yeah.
And
'Cause-
Cobra Kai.
and Cobra Kai.
You've
like
seen
Karate
every
Kid a lot.
episode.
Like I literally,
Go ahead.
I met.
I
Ralph,
know, you went to
and
con.
I'm like, I'm not gonna cry because I'm not gonna be that person. And then I see him, I'm like, I'm gonna cry. And he was so nice, and yeah. So I can understand that when you have that. And that was his
that
thing
connection
for so
with
long.
someone, yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's face it. I mean, he used to boast doing the Eddie Van Halen jump.
Yes. When I met him a few times, he used to work
Wanna
at
see what I can do?
Major Video, and I remember going in because my father would send me in to like, can you rent Blazing Saddles or these just
To the back room.
to the, no, he usually didn't do
movies.
that. He didn't make me
That's
do
when
that.
you heard the same squeak noise she is now.
Yeah.
No, he didn't have me do that. But he would send me in there, and Brian was he was at the front.
Yeah.
And I remember he had the bright pink shirt, and he had this mullet that was just, and I would go up to him and I'm like, oh, my father, I could tell him any movie. He's like, that's a good movie. Anything he said, very, very sweet.
Well, because you were Carla from KFC and he knew it.
That's right. That dame with the chicken.
That's right. As he said, I'll make you gravy. In that really creepy way.
But yeah, he had the big mullet
Yep.
for a long time. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of.
And if he could do it now, he would.
He would.
Yeah.
It was
absolutely
kind of
would.
in for a while.
Oh yeah,
That
absolutely.
look.
When we were
I mean,
younger,
come on.
of
Even
course.
even Bono in 1985 had a mullet with you two.
Come on, let's face it.
You didn't have a mullet.
I had in
Well-
CCRI. I think I did.
You had like a quiet mullet. You didn't have like
A
mullet.
quiet
No, I didn't-
mullet. That sounds like a name of a band in
was just-
1985.
Yeah.
Our
Quiet
next
mullet.
hit is from Quiet Mullet.
Yeah. they couldn't decide if they wanted to be heavy metal or soft rock, so they're quiet mullet. No,
That
but
last song was
yes,
from Duran Duran, and now one from Quiet Mullet.
I had the chicken hawk hairdo at that point.
Oh, you did.
Where I had the little, remember the chicken hawk?
I am
That's
a
right.
chicken hawk, and I eat chickens.
I say, boy, that there's a chicken.
I say there, son. You're about
I
as
had
sharp as a
that.
bag of
You
bowling
did.
balls.
You did. I could have flunked out of school because
Listen,
of you.
well,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Your ex-boyfriend had the same mullet.
No, he did not.
Phil V?
No, he
Yes,
didn't.
he
No,
did.
he's not. When I
He had a mullet.
no.
Phil, come on the comments because I know you're watching. Because Phil's a Facebook friend of both of ours
Yes.
now, right?
Yes, I think that's how I met you, is through Phil.
Me? I don't know. Well, you know what it was?
'Cause-
So we went to CCRI together, the Community College of Rhode Island.
Yes, find establishment.
Fine
Yes.
I
establishment.
learned a lot.
I didn't have
learned
good
a
enough
lot.
SAT scores to
Yes.
get in there.
No, yeah, you didn't need SATs. You just needed to know how to sign your name, and even then, if you printed it, you could get in. But
If you just
listen,
put an X, you could
no,
get it.
listen, it really was. I did learn
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah,
A lot of the psychology classes that I ended up taking that transferred over to my, when I went to Rhode Island College and got my major in psych, abnormal psychology. I took a lot of psych classes at CCRI. It wasn't so much those. It was the chemistries and some of the other ones that they had a really good cafeteria there.
Oh, they're the best. They're the best
And-
French fries.
Right? That's
they?
it. French fries and the game room. We had our group of friends had a table. You kind of gravitated towards certain people because everyone had the same break at the same time. So we would gravitate to this one table outside
Carla
of the game
gravitated
room.
towards mullets.
That's
Yeah,
it.
evidently.
apparently.
Mullets and Gallagher.
That's it. Oh my God, Gallagher.
That could be the name of the episode too.
Mullet-
Carla Mulhern, Mullets and Gallagher.
That's right. Quiet mullets. And
Quiet mullets.
Quiet Mullets and Gallagher.
But we used to. That's what we used to
I
do.
loved Gallagher, though.
So do I.
We
So
would-
do.
Gallagher.
We would all get, for some reason, we all had the lunchtime off
Yeah.
from classes, and we had afternoon classes. So everyone would gather at this table. We'd all get like just the fries. I don't even think we'd get burgers,
Tots.
just fries.
We get tots sometimes.
Tots sometimes if we had extra money.
All healthy stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, and at the time, none of us gained any weight, so it,
You're describing Napoleon Dynamite right
that's
now.
basically
Exactly- that was
that's
it.
what our
That
life
was
was.
awesome. Yeah.
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 So we would
Give me some of your tots.
we would hang out, bullshit. I would do voices.
Oh, my God.
Then we'd all go in. We'd go in and beat each other at Gallagher. That was our favorite.
Yeah.
Our favorite
Rocking out
thing.
to Richard Marx.
Rock, yeah,
That was on
because they
continuous
actually
loop.
had a loop of music
Hold
in the game
on
room.
to the night.
Yeah.
Yes, half my homework was done in the
In
hold
that.
on.
Yeah, it's amazing any of us actually passed classes there,
Seriously.
but I did, and you
Yeah.
did.
So if I didn't
right?
do well, I just told my parents it was this
It was
guy
some
Ace.
kid Ace. Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder your dad hated me when he
Well.
first met me. Are you kidding? Your
Well, I
dad
went
loves me.
originally because I worked at, as we know, Kentucky Fried Chicken for forever,
Making
and
gravy.
I'm like, I wanted to own my own. I'm like, I want to do this.
You wanted a franchise
I
a
so
KFC?
did. My
Really?
boss was awesome, and I'm like, he's like, if you really like it, go to school and we'll get you a KFC. I'm like, all right. So I went to school, and then I met Ace, and then I took this
And
class.
that's where your dream
It was
of having a KFC derailed.
yeah, Debbie Downer. And then I took a criminology course, and I'm like, oh my God, I really love this.
Yeah.
And then that's where I decided to go off and
Be a
do the legal
paralegal.
thing. Yeah, I loved it. So yeah,
And did you ever want to be a lawyer?
I did.
Did you?
I did. But an incident happened that kind of, I could tell it, but I decided at that point I didn't want to do it. I was working for a law firm, and I was working for, that's when it was a big time law firm, and a lot of the associates, unfortunately,
Love it.
like low
Sheffrin,
man.
Galogli, and Harnett.
Do we screw him and how?
Did we screw him and how?
And she was a young associate. She just had a baby. And with that, you have some of the partners that are just like shoveling all the work at you.
Right.
So we had the system where you could go in and you could see if I was working on a document for her, I could see who went in and what they did and all that kind of
What
stuff.
edits.
The hours
Yeah.
and things. So I was looking at it and I see her name a couple of times at like 3, 4 in the morning. So I went in, I'm like, what are you doing at this hour? Like, why am I here? I'm supposed to be helping you. She's like, I know I've got a lot of pressure to get this done, that done, this done, that done. I said, well, just give this stuff to me. You have a baby. And
Right.
so no word of a lie, 2 days later, I'm in my little cubby area and I hear a crash. And I go in, and she'd fallen and had a seizure.
Oh, my God.
So much so that we had to take like the infamous legal pad, and we had to
And
put
stick
it
it
in her mouth.
so she didn't swallow her tongue.
And we ended up finding out that the reason for the seizure was due to
Stress.
her not sleeping, stress and not
Wow.
sleeping. So and I'm just like, you know what? I have the best of both worlds. I get to go to. What was that?
Would you get excited? Was that the spring on your
Sorry.
on your mic arm, or are you excited to see her?
That's right. Boing.
That couldn't happen. But oh, we got a snort.
So I literally decided, you know what? I don't. And maybe I'll think about it later and go
Yeah.
back. And I didn't. And then, now the whole career is completely different than
Right.
legal now.
Right. So how? Yeah. So let's talk about that, because it really is. Despite what he said, it's not just about Brian. Let's talk about you and how you transitioned from the paralegal world to the fundraising.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me fix my headphones.
Go ahead, you
They
fix
feel
them.
Screwy.
Fix them, doll face.
All right.
All right.
Anyway, I well, you know the story, but
Yeah,
I
but
lost
the
my
listeners
best
don't.
friend to leukemia when I was little, and back then it was in 1981.
Mm-hmm.
Survival rate for leukemia then was like 4 to 6%. Something that first person you lose, it shook me. So I took her memory with me, thought about her every single day. My mom had been a nurse with her mom, and so anyway, spin ahead. I'm working for MetLife. And this friend of mine reaches out and she's like, hey, I want to nominate you for this campaign for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society Man Woman of the Year. And I'm like, all right. I didn't even ask anyone, didn't ask anybody. I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And I said, I'm going to do this in honor of my friend Michelle. And so she's like, this is great. It's a 10-week campaign. So the ironic thing is they brought my name to the committee, and the committee's kind of all sitting around. And my friend said, I have a friend, Carla, who's going to do this campaign in memory of her friend, Michelle Hopkins. And the girl next door taps her and says, that's my sister.
No.
And because, Carrie had a married name, it wasn't Hopkins
You
anymore,
didn't know.
obviously. So I ended up getting back in touch with her whole family, her two sisters, her mom, her dad, got to do the campaign. And just life has a way of just timing.
Talk
But
about
during the
serendipity.
campaign, during the campaign, Michelle's father came down with ALS, and a very rapid strain of it. He got diagnosed, I believe, in October or November. Campaign kicked off in March. I did 1K, 5K, 10K for her called Miles to Michelle. Pictures of her everywhere at Colt State Park. And her father had really kind of taken a turn for the worse. He had, the neck brace and really couldn't stand on his own. but he was able to come to the race and was able to see us remembering. I think
Remembering
that's the
her.
best thing. You know, when you lose a child, and or anybody, you just want to keep their memory alive. You don't want they're gone, but they're
Right.
not forgotten. And one of the best moments was him coming up to me and asking the nurse to let his hands go so he could hug me, and I was like,
Oh my God, sobbing, yeah.
And I was like, what am I doing? Why don't I do this? Why can't I do this? And had the finale, and I loved it. I didn't win the competition, but I won the competition because I got in touch with her whole family again. It was
Right.
just I could cry talking about it. It's very rewarding. And I bothered the executive director at the time. I'm like, do something with me, hire me, something, please. So he's like, all right, I want to get you off my back. So he got me on a committee, and then he got me on the board. And then by some weird twist of fate,
A position opened up.
yeah, and I took it and never looked back. And that's through that I ended up getting hooked back again with Ace.
Right.
You poor thing.
Yeah, because I got Amy
Ponce.
our friend Amy Ponce,
Yep,
Creepy
yep.
Hands
Creepy
Ponce.
hands.
She reached out to me and said, hey, my friend's running for Woman of the Year for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We're trying to do a fundraiser for her at Catch a Rising Star at Twin River at the time.
Yeah.
And would you, I've got Frank O'Donnell coming on and, a couple of other folks. Would you be interested in being on it? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I went, I did it. And then Carla goes, we went to college together. I totally didn't even remember.
Nice.
I know.
I remembered.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I remembered after
He's
you
shallow
reminded
like
me
that.
about Galaga. And, well, you know what it is? She didn't have her mullet.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Neither did
recognize her.
you, but she remembered you.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. But that's how we got hooked back up. And
Well, you were
then-
probably thinking, who's this lesbian comedian that is performing
Ellen?
with me?
That's why I grew a beard.
Who got Ellen to be on my show? Wow, this is
And
big
that's
time.
why I grew facial hair, so I don't look like a lesbian.
Now
I was
you
gonna
look
ask
like a
you,
transition.
What made you do this?
lesbian.
What's this? I can't pay the rent. What brought this on?
Oh my God, that's an old school one. Yeah. I can't pay the rent. You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. You must pay the rent. I'll pay the rent. My
Now-
hero. Curses foiled again.
Now you look like a lesbian that's a fan of Captain Jack Sparrow.
right.
No, what made
Thank
you grow
very
it?
much.
Now we're
I
gonna turn.
appreciate that. What?
Well, now I'll ask you. A question.
Because my kids kept calling me a lesbian.
Come on, really? And that's why you did that?
My kids and my
Just
friends.
recently started calling
Yeah,
you
this
that?
this no,
'Cause
they've
that's
been calling me
new.
that for a
Yeah,
while.
you just started growing.
I
this.
finally there was the straw
Right,
that
right.
broke the lesbian's back.
All right. Alrighty.
Boy, if
can
I had
I
a
say?
dollar every time I said that.
I know. So that's why I did it.
All right.
But yeah, and then my friend Carla
Oh, let's move on to something else now.
reaches out and ropes me into the fucking thing.
You
First
did
off,
it more than once.
Oh, I was dumb enough to do it twice.
Yeah, 'cause
no,
that's-
I shouldn't say that because it is a good organization. It
You had
goes
fun
to-
doing it.
I did.
You
it
did.
was just it was
a lot of
like
work.
a full-time job.
No
it
is
really
no,
was.
and you could have said no,
And I
you
should have,
didn't.
but I didn't
Because
my friend Carla asked me.
I remember the second year you did it.
Yeah, what's the excuse the second year? Like,
You batted your eyelashes at me and went, "Please, I don't have enough candidates for this year."
I tried for like third time's a charm, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Then I smartened up.
no, I got him on the board though.
Yes,
Got him on the
I
board.
was on the board
Yeah.
for a couple of years, and then she moved
It was
on.
a great
and
experience.
It
yeah.
really
It really
was.
was.
It was.
Changed my life. So yeah.
And now you're involved with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you made a little pit stop at another nonprofit.
I did.
And then I think got your dream job.
I did. I mean, when COVID obviously screwed everything the hell up.
Yeah.
And when I lost my job, that was, obviously terrible. I hadn't lost a job before. So I kind of did the same thing that Brian, just stood in a wall and stared and didn't know what to do with myself.
Perfect
But
couple.
Things, I'm
Yeah,
like,
right?
Yeah, literally.
Ooh, that must have been really happy times around there.
Imagine that happy household.
Yeah, we should have Jonathan come on next.
he was going to work every day, so he got his
so
break
he-
from me.
he didn't know.
Yeah, he got his break. But no, I think I was happy to be able to take this job. Someone stepped down again, for an executive director, and reached out to me, and I think it really is, knock on wood, where I was meant to be.
Because it's a nonprofit, but it's a small local nonprofit.
It's a small local, yeah.
So you're not dealing with the bureaucracy of a national organization, which listen, the national organizations do a great job, but there is a lot of bureaucracy. I remember when I was on another board for another national organization, healthcare related, and it was a lot of bullshit. Like, wait a minute, how much is going to our local chapter? Why are we kicking? It was like the mafia. It was like you got to kick up to to the higher higher ups, so that they can run their national offices. And I just felt like that's what I love about the Izzy Foundation, because it is local.
We hadn't said the name yet,
wow,
so I
I'm
was
sorry.
going to say, let's mention the name.
No, the Izzy Foundation is fantastic. So tell us a little bit about how the Izzy Foundation.
Yes,
came
I will,
about.
and
don't cry.
I'm not going to cry.
All right,
I've done it enough now. I think I've
she
got it down.
was adorable, though. I love.
Oh my gosh,
pictures. That kid was.
I'll tell you, last year when you put together the show,
with the students,
that the students had done, and then I got to meet the parents,
Tina
and
and
that
Fantastic
made
people.
everything just so
real,
very real, and they are the nicest people. That I have ever met, and it was like, oh my God, it just really kind of brought the whole thing home in that
made
moment.
it real.
They're just they're wonderful people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I'm honored and humbled to have the job, but I take it seriously because this is their daughter.
Yes.
And that you're like, I'm like, the pressure's on. But I will say, it's in memory of Isabel Walrab, who you've seen the picture. She's just this beautiful, beautiful girl. After her first birthday was diagnosed with stage 4 pediatric cancer. Both Tina and Kyle were doctors in the Rhode Island network. They went everywhere trying to seek treatment for her. They went so far as Germany to get a stem cell.
Oh, wow.
Raising money. And, you see pictures of her, and I think if there's any silver lining is that she didn't realize she was sick. She just smiled. She lived a child's life. So anyway, they went place to place. And one of the things that they found, I think, is a lot of these waiting rooms suck. They're scary, and they're it's not a good place for families. We all know, even in some of the hospitals now, the waiting rooms are scary. So unfortunately, Izzy, after her third birthday, she passed away, and her parents decided, you can either crawl in a hole when anyone passes, or you can get up there and keep going and keeping their memory alive. So they took the money and rebuilt the Izzy family room, which was the waiting room on the 5th floor. It's pediatric oncology
at Hasbro Children's
Hospital. And there is, a lot of people don't know this, and I didn't know this. There's no cafeteria at Hasbro. There's a cafeteria.
It's only at Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, and it's not that far of a walk, but when you have a sick child,
you don't want to leave for that long. So, it's a good from Hasbro, because I used to work at Rhode Island Hospital in Hasbro, and from that 5th floor, if you go down the elevators through the tunnel and all that stuff, it's a good 5-minute walk to the cafeteria. So God forbid, you're a family member and you're in the cafeteria, and all of a sudden you hear code blue, 5th floor.
Yeah,
you're 5 minutes away.
Exactly.
That's a horrible. Run.
Yeah. So we every day, 5 days a week, the parents have the code come in. It's their living room, we call it, their safe haven. We say Izzy's arms wrap around you as soon as you walk in. Mm-hmm. Coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, they're our sponsor. Coffee 24 hours a day for any family member that wants it. Snacks, hygiene products. I mean, Tammy. Tammy's son,
KJ,
was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. She spent the next 19 months in the hospital. She didn't go home. So, I mean, many of these families have this. So to be able to give them a warm meal, to be able to give them coffee, I took pictures. We have our DVD kind of died, and Ace was kind enough to buy us a new one because now the kids are watching the movies.
That's awesome.
Just giving them a safe space to be. And it's all purple. Izzy's favorite color was purple, and it's my favorite. So it's just beautiful.
And on certain nights, you have local caterers come in and cater food for them, so that the parents have dinner every night.
Every day we do lunch. Every day we do lunch. We're going to start hopefully doing either dinner or brunches on the weekends. But then we also have, right before COVID, they opened on the 2nd floor, the pediatric ICU. We have another purple waiting room for families. So when their kids are going in for surgery, again, coffee, snacks, whatever we can do to
make it a little more comfortable.
And the goal is also to expand, right? To make it in other hospitals.
We'd love to see that. Yeah.
Boston Children's Hospital would be the next best place to
It'd
do
be-
it, right?
There's so many.
There's so many places.
Yeah.
It's Philadelphia, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, like, you know.
Connecticut Children's.
Connecticut
There's so many
Children's,
just
right.
Having
right
a
in New
state-
England.
Just in the Northeast,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's such a great place because, you know, I got invited, Carla, obviously. Carla and I just have intertwined, not in a... Brian, I'm not saying this in a bad way. Our lives have intertwined so much
Yeah.
because...
Including the 3 minutes upstairs.
It was a minute half.
Hey, oh.
Well, I'm counting the walk up the stairs
Yeah,
and the walk
and
back down.
Yeah. Wow, you guys are generous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Some of that KFC gravy.
Yeah, gravy. I was about to say such a heartfelt thing.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But our lives have intertwined so much that, you know, for the audience that may not know the book that I wrote, Maddie Loses a Tooth, I was looking for an illustrator. Carla recommended her son, Jonathan, and he did an amazing job.
Unbelievable job.
Thank you.
Then she asks me, hey, you know, we have authors come in and read to the kids at the Izzy Room sometimes.
And we can't find a real author. Would you mind?
And that's how she phrased it. And so I went there one night, and then I got to actually see the Izzy Room and see what happened. And,
Yeah.
you know, for the
Posted some great pictures.
yeah, and
Some really nice
you know what's
pictures.
interesting? That little girl that was there that night, adorable.
God.
Yes.
She almost reminded me of Izzy.
Yeah,
Like
the
I
eyes.
never saw pictures of Izzy with hair. You know, it was always you know, no hair pictures. But her face, that little tiny little face, she was so adorable.
if you-
And
yeah.
then the little boy, and here's how small Rhode Island is for those that don't know. I'm sitting there, I'm reading the book to this little 2-year-old boy who, you know, I know he doesn't understand the book. He's just pointing at pictures. I'm showing him pictures.
Was that the one you had the picture of that was putting his hand on the book? Like he was
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
you
So
questions.
cute.
Such a cute picture.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, I look at the dad. I go, "You look familiar," and he goes, "Yeah." And then the mom goes, "Oh yeah, you're friends with our friend Josh." And I go, "Oh my God, wait a minute. What's your last name?" They tell me the last name. Maddie, who's the subject of the book, has danced with this little boy's cousin since she was 3.
It's crazy.
That's how.
And Maddie
small
was
Rhode
with
Island-
you that night,
Yeah.
And
too.
Maddie was with me.
Yeah.
She goes, "Wait a minute. This is so, you know, I don't want to give away
Yeah,
names.
absolutely.
This is so and so's cousin. Oh my God." So she immediately texted her friend and was like, "I'm here with your little cousin." And you know, since we've been to a couple more fundraisers for him and stuff like that. Adorable little kid. And
The
to
pictures
see-
were great
Yeah,
that he
they were.
posted.
And to see some of the other parents that came in that night and were like, this is for us. Like you guys had pizzas that night. They're like, this is for us. And you could see these poor parents are so fucking exhausted
Right.
from being in a room with their kid who's scared, who may or may not be scared. Tons of machines, tubes, everything. That little girl, you know, they had to bring her IV pole with her, you know, and
It's
and even the little boy too, you know.
It just gives them that little break for
A
a minute.
little bit of a
They don't
home.
have to think.
Yeah.
They
And-
could just grab, like you said, a refreshment for a minute. Just take a moment
Yeah.
to breathe.
yeah. They
And
can
that's
sit-
why
so what-
I
yeah.
appreciate the kind words, but I happen to walk in the room and I saw a little post-it on the DVD player and it said, "We're sorry, DVD player out of order." And I said, "How long has that been out of order?" She said, "Oh, it just broke like last week." I go, "That's ridiculous. I'll get you a new one." Like DVD players are not that expensive
Yeah,
nowadays.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But the fact that they had like, you know, probably 50 or 60 movies there that these little kids
Yeah.
can't watch. So
Right,
I was like,
right.
"No, I'll get a new one." It wasn't
it
that
was awesome.
big a deal,
It was
but
great.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And we feed, like, to be honest, we feed 50 families a day. I mean, it's, and, you know, some of them can't leave their
Mm. And it's
room.
all donated.
Yeah, it's all donated. It's
Yep. Shout out to my buddy Dave at Dave and Josh at Catering Gourmet.
Oh my gosh, they're awesome.
Because I saw them on the calendar and they are amazing.
they are, their food is,
And again,
it smells amazing.
Small world Rhode Island is. Dave and I went to high school
Oh my
together.
gosh. So they did lunch Monday and it was mac and cheese.
Oh, their mac and cheese is
Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, it's like
Crazy.
willpower up the kazoo, let me tell
yeah.
you.
Up the wazoo. You hear that, Dame?
That's right.
Oh my God.
Ba-da-da-da-da.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Here we go.
That's right. That dame had some set of stems and a wazoo that'll make you quit your job. Her wazoo made me go back to church on Sunday. That's what I'm talking about.
I never
That's a new one.
I never sexualized the wazoo. I know what it means, but I never made it that.
Someone had to.
Someone had to. Needed to be done.
It needed to be done, Charlie. It needed to be done.
Oh my God! Hey, any?
I was down at the docks checking out the dames wazoos.
I know we read some of the comments, but if anyone wants to throw up a question for Carla, if they have any deep dark secrets they'd like to know all about Brian or Carla or anything, feel free to throw a comment up.
Did we ever talk about? I know we've talked about his fake proposal.
Yeah,
That time in front of your parents.
Oh my God.
And the fact that you got it on video is even better.
I'm like I said, that day was just, I don't know if you guys planned it, but it was like, let's bring up all these awful things that I totally forgot.
We didn't plan it. It just worked out to our advantage that way.
God.
It was a horrible therapy session, wasn't it?
I can't
was
even
cathartic.
The
imagine.
couch, God damn it.
I can't imagine what was going through not only your head, but
Oh
your
my God.
parents
Oh my
were there
God.
that night.
Oh my God. Well, he literally said, just roll with it. And and the worst part is like he gets down on one knee and people start rushing.
Right.
The
Yes,
stage.
because
trying
they
to
think
take
it's the moment.
pictures, right?
and
They
there's
think it's the moment.
There's a video,
Yeah.
and you can hear this girl afterwards when he's like, "Get me whatever with no ice, whatever." And
Diet
this girl's
Coke,
like,
yeah.
"What an asshole!" Like, if that were my boyfriend, and you could hear it on the
Oh, yeah.
video. Yeah. it was-
Meanwhile, I proposed to my ex-wife on stage at the Comedy Connection, and I'm divorced. When all you heard on the video was "oh" from the women in the crowd. I did something sweet. He's an asshole, and he's still married. I don't know, Jerry. The world is crazy.
You're spotting dimes, eating onions. I don't know what's going on.
because we talked about the 1 year anniversary. I was so excited. That's when I got gussied up.
To go out.
And he's like giving me this beautiful, necklace and whatever bracelet, and he's kind of like, "Well, this is probably as far as it's gonna go,"
As far as it's gonna
It's like, I know people are gonna probably bother you after a year, but I think we're good like this. I'm like, okay, happy anniversary,
asshole.
What?
Wow.
So I said,
This is as good as it's gonna
buck
get.
stops
That's
here.
so funny.
Yeah.
Holy Brian. He's so self-deprecating that he didn't realize he meant it as he's shitting on himself. Like, this is as good as it's going to
Yeah,
get. I
this is-
can't
we're
believe
good
you're
like
still
this.
with
Yeah.
me. So I don't want to ruin it by moving it to the next level because you're going to find out you're going to get sick of me.
He should write a guide to romance.
But it comes out in a way like, well, this is as good as
That's
it's
it.
going to get.
That's it.
He should write a man's guide to romance.
Okay, hold on. We got a question from Dan the A-hole. Does he ever sleep? Him and
No.
I have more conversations at 2 or 3
You
in the
were
morning
talking about that.
than I have with anyone in that hour, including my wife. So I literally, Dan, right before the show,
Yeah.
I brought that up. I said, is he getting more sleep? Because when he was unemployed,
No.
you just saw 2 and 3 a.m. rants out of Brian.
I'd
And-
get up
and
in the
then-
morning, look at Facebook, and it says 3 hours ago, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
3 hours ago.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, he has like 1 or 2 nights that he'll go to bed at a decent
At a
hour.
decent time.
But most of the time, no. Like Fridays.
Well, because
all
he's
night.
got a lot to say now. As we were talking before the show, he was so good and so cautious right after he lost the job at his previous
Well,
station.
he didn't lose it.
No.
He still knows where it is.
Oh, no. Well,
Just if you go there now,
after
someone
he
else
got-
is doing it.
After he got let go from his previous station,
Yes.
he was very good. Now, understandably, he had to be quiet for a couple of months to maintain his benefits and his severance,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
But
Yes.
then he was still being really good.
Uh-huh. And then one night, don't know what you were doing. It was late. Yeah.
Evidently, Dan, it's Ace the a-hole because I was having a conversation at 2 a.m. with him.
You called
She goes,
him.
I don't know what you were doing.
He's like, it's like 11. He's like, Ace is calling. And then
Oh, yeah, that's right. I
You
called
said
him. I was like,
something,
I think he
brainwashed him. I don't know. And then
He posted.
fucked it up.
I think I need a top off for this one.
Wait, as Carla said before we went live, she goes, and you fucked it up.
Sit. I don't know what you
I
did, what you
think what
said.
happened was he posted some like homage to his previous station, and I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm guessing it might have been a night after the cigar bar where I had maybe had a few. So I was feeling the same way he does in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you
Listen,
do a lot
folks,
of reaching out, texting, and messages after our post-podcast meetings.
And in all fairness, some of our biggest guests are a result
Of your
me
drunken
reaching out-
messages.
Of my drunken messages.
They are.
I love you, man. I've loved you since I was a kid. I'm a huge fan.
Would you like
be
to
on my
come on our podcast? Next thing you know,
yeah,
Craig
sure.
Shoemaker's on.
That's literally
Swear to
how
God.
it happens. I've got a guest that's about to come on, and we're not going to say who
Because
I'll
he doesn't
tell
want
you
to jinx
after
it.
the show.
Doesn't want to jinx it.
But you're going to shit your pants when you hear who it is, and
Is it Ralph Macchio?
No,
How'd
no.
you know?
But it's because of a late night drunken text.
Oh my God.
Yes,
And
he'll sit there, and we're at
hey,
the
at
end of
least
the
I'm
night.
not texting women to come and just sleep with me. Like I'm not booty calling people.
You
I
would
don't
though.
know.
I would if
You
I had
would,
a few
though.
in the hopper.
I could really
no, but wait.
throw him under the bus.
No, I've never texted
Why, did you
like
te-
that.
No, you've never texted me. You
No, but
showed
you've
me
texted-
them.
Oh, yeah.
You've
all right,
texted Brian
anyway.
by accident that way.
Yeah,
Hey,
shh.
babe, why don't you come on over?
Come on over, and he's like, "Damn it, Carla's laying next to me."
Carla's not asleep yet.
No, he's downstairs.
Do you
I'm
notice? I
sleeping.
think I've got a good Brian impression going.
Do it again.
I'm doing. Damn it! now it's
Now
not going
you're
to sound like it.
You can't do it on purpose. You do
No,
it by
I have to
action.
do
You
it.
gotta
It's
get
like,
it,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm making
yeah.
gravy. It's like, yeah, damn it, Carla's laying next to me. I can't move. but
Soon as you get
to
your
get back
voice
to-
fully back, half
know.
of your impressions are going to be
I
gone.
don't know where the hell Norm McDonald's going to go. Shit, what was I saying? Oh no, I said something must have triggered me that night where he was saying something so positive about his previous station, and I knew the gag order had pretty much lapsed, so he didn't have to do it anymore. And I think I called him and I was like, "What the fuck are you posting nice things about them for? That's bullshit. After what they did to you, that is ridiculous. You don't need to take that shit anymore. You don't need to post it."
I don't know.
And then what happened?
You
2 a.m.
unleashed the Kraken.
Yeah. 2 a.m. post with Dan the A-hole.
You unleashed the Kraken.
Seriously. Yeah, I don't know. You did something.
I
You
unleashed
said
the
something.
Mulhern.
You did. But even like this one, we were out one
This
night
one.
having a drink, and Brian put. Did he put where we were? He didn't put where we were. I think he just said we were out. And this one's like,
What are you guys doing? I invited myself
Yeah.
along. I met up with him, had a couple of drinks.
yeah, we were going back and forth. We said something.
Oh,
He's
no,
like,
you dared me to come and show up. You dared
I
me.
dared you, but you did.
I did. Don't dare
She
me.
didn't think you'd actually
Yeah.
come.
Would you like to run for man of the year? Okay.
No,
And then he yells at me, says I force him. Do you want
No.
to come meet us for a drink? Okay.
Okay. Listen,
Yeah, it takes a lot of arm twisting with this one.
the end of the sentence was drink. What do you think I'm going to
That's it.
say?
Exactly.
That's it.
So, yeah, we ended up hanging out that night.
That was fun. Then
We
you-
had fun.
Yeah, and then he told us that ghost story, which I know we won't
Which
get into.
one?
Oh,
You
no,
guys
no,
stayed
no,
at the
no, no. Yeah.
Conjuring House.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Conjuring House story, which will be coming up on 9/28.
Yes, we're going to have.
Tune in on 9/28
right.
to hear the
horrifying.
story live when we unveil what we found.
And then on
At the Conjuring House.
And then on October 19th, we're going to continue that story
Yes.
because
Yes.
we're going to talk a little bit about what happened that night at the Conjuring House with Ken DaCosta on the 28th. But then on the 19th of October, Scottober, we have Cody and Satori coming on.
Oh, okay.
Who
And-
are the conduits of that story?
Yes, so they are going to
Huh?
talk about how that happened.
How's that for a radio
That was pretty
tease?
good. That was really good.
I like it. I saw all of them this past weekend at Ocean State Paracon. You should have come.
Yeah.
Right around the corner from you,
No,
believe it or not.
That's all scary.
It's up
stuff,
in
isn't it?
Harrisville. Yeah.
You know, thank you. All set.
Yeah, it
You
was
know.
cool.
I can't do
I'm
any
with Carla on
clowns, dolls, like that Pee-wee over there is freaking me out. We're going to turn the box around.
That's from last week. The Pee Wee Herman
Like,
dolls
I'm
are still
waiting.
in the
It's
studio.
Hey, Carla.
I keep,
Hey, Carla, want to hang out for a while?
Okay.
no, I keep
I
looking
like you,
over.
Carla.
Like you. Like. Like you.
Sorry.
I keep looking over, expecting the doll to be out of the box and like over here about to choke me.
Yeah.
Then last year's episode with Cody and Satori,
Yeah.
they brought in a clown inside of a glass globe.
Why?
Hold on.
Okay.
And they were telling a story how the guy that they got it from, it would move. Okay? While it was sitting here, it turned, not like us sitting here watching
As
it
the
turn.
show went on,
we're
we
talking
noticed it was
throughout.
turned a different
they had
way.
it facing the screen.
Yeah.
And we looked down at one point, and I'm like, did that thing move? And they looked at it, they go, yeah, it had turned towards Ace and I.
The face?
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
The whole body turned looking at us, and it started
Come
facing the
on.
camera. I watched back the video. I can't see in the video
When
when
it
it actually
changed,
turned.
yeah.
Just all of a sudden at one point, you see it facing in a different direction.
I would have pooped.
We know.
That's awful.
The whole month of Scottober, I have to wear Depends.
Yeah.
I can't. I'll say this really quickly. I went for a walk the other day, and I'm sorry, it's September. Not necessary yet. We don't need Halloween. I'm sorry if I'm
We don't need
offending
pumpkin
anybody.
lattes.
I'm not ready.
Okay,
Pumpkin lattes.
but I
maybe
can't-
maybe I'll give in a little bit with that. Maybe, but I was driving here. People have decorations up.
I can handle Halloween. Going to a Walmart right now, there's already Christmas decorations for sale. And Christmas trees. That's crazy.
That is crazy. No, I can't do it. I was walking and I looked up, and I'm not kidding. It's a skeleton. The eyes blink, and it's like,
Like 10 feet tall.
yes,
Yeah.
Those big ones.
And I was like looking
I
down,
like those. I
playing
want
my
one.
80s "Wake Me Up Before You Go iPod music, and I look up and I scream, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not necessary.
My wife and I were at Lowe's buying some stuff for the house.
Yeah.
Not decorations, just regular stuff for the house. And they had one of those on display. The thing was like 9-10 feet
can't-
tall. And the guy goes, yeah, we're sold out of them.
I can't. No, I'm
Sold
not
out of them.
sad.
And it's like $500 that
I
thing.
can't do it. I'll have like my little peanuts stuff. That's about it. Nothing scary.
Peanuts.
Can't do it. That's it.
It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
I do. I have a little pumpkin patch, and they spin around, and I got a rock.
He's gonna keep going. See, you know how most people will do like one chorus?
Okay.
You know how most people will do one chorus?
He's gonna do it all.
Yeah.
It's the peanuts, though.
You are,
I love that music.
yeah, you know what you're being like? The Clam Man right now.
The who?
Oh, dude, that cut deep.
Yeah.
That cut
Well,
deep.
because most people who do song parodies do one verse. He does the whole song, including
likes
the interlude.
Do you know
And that's
who
what
the
you
famous
do.
jazz artist was that did all the musics to the original Peanuts?
Is he still alive?
No.
No.
But he was a very famous jazz artist, jazz pianist.
Thelonious Monk.
No, actually, that's not a bad guess. I'm surprised.
was it?
Because I was a huge jazz fan. His name was Vince Guaraldi.
Yeah. I knew that.
Of course you did.
Yeah,
I did that.
excellent jazz
Yeah,
pianist.
it was awesome.
And he did all the original music to all the Peanuts cartoons.
Welcome to the Peanuts Show.
Okay, we're done. Okay.
We just did it. Who's your favorite Peanuts character?
Snoopy.
Oh yeah,
Snoopy.
because this is way more boring than Galaga and fucking Tater Tots at
Well,
CCRI.
that was our life.
That was
Sorry.
my life.
So it's Vince Guaraldi and Peanuts for me.
I love the.
Yeah, but we're talking to the guest.
And she knew Vince
She
Guaraldi.
knew him, but she wasn't a big fan of him. I just winked at her to say no.
Hey, please, she can't keep a straight face.
I
at
know.
that shit.
That's the problem.
She gave in.
Hold
right
on.
away. So you know what? We can't
She
do.
goes, we got a comment. Michelle Smith said, Carla, you should go in Bodish Lake Campground. We have Halloween already going.
Yeah, because the campground's closing in a month.
Yeah, right. It won't be open at Halloween.
We can't do funny bad gigs, but there's got to be a funny bad Brian moment that she could tell us about.
Every one of them is funny and
They're all
bad.
hilarious, but there's
What's
got to
your
be
funniest bad Brian moment?
like you're with your friends or something like that.
yeah, and
and
you're
maybe
like-
they're telling their bad husband story.
And you're like, oh, you think that's bad?
There's got to be.
She's like, my God,
there's
so
got to be a
many. How
Brian
long do we
moment or a
have?
Brian story that's like, oh yeah, no one can beat this.
Oh, I don't.
She doesn't know if she should say it.
I mean, the proposal
I'm sorry.
is
I think that's the
Yeah,
that
that's the
is
worst.
that is what I don't know how you would top
fake
that in all
proposal.
your Brian
And the worst
stories.
was like, yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
is the
that's
worst.
that's probably
all right.
I just hit my seat and just went down.
He's like in shock. No, that was probably. I will chime in if I get another one that comes to me.
Yeah.
But that is probably
All right.
the worst. And my parents were there. It was
Yeah.
a fundraiser.
Now,
It was-
let me.
Speaking
Did you
of your parents.
Did your parents say anything to you? After that, like leave him.
No, my
Dad was pissed.
My father was. My
Right.
mother was worried. She was okay when she was worried.
She's a nurse.
Because she's
They
like,
worry.
yeah, she thought that I knew he was going to do something, and that could mean many million fucking
Right.
things.
Oh, my
all
word.
bad. So I'm like, he's like, just go with it. I'm like, all right. I didn't know he was going. Okay, run for man of the year. Okay. I didn't think he was gonna get on his knee, and then as soon as I see him get on his knee, I'm like, for a minute, I'm like, and this is the part I hate myself
Did
for.
he mean
Did
go,
you-
go with
For
it?
like
I was gonna
one
say-
second.
Say yes?
You
One
thought it
second.
was real.
Right.
One little second, and I'm like, no. And then he's like, can you get me a chicken diet? And then I'm like, shit, because all I can think of is my mom and dad.
And all you hear
Bob
is,
and
what an
Mary.
asshole.
Yeah. And then I'm hoping that Bob doesn't rush the stage. I'm waiting for that.
All of a sudden, she sees her father kicking the shit out of
Yeah.
Brian on the stage.
Like, Mom.
The funniest thing about her dad, though, is he seems like, I know you've told stories about how hard ass he used to be and stuff, but he seems like
But imagine
he's
him choking
like
the shit out of
Oh,
Brian
the
on
nicest
stage.
guy.
He-
Like, all right, I gotta ask, how's his tooth? Did it come back?
What?
I did a book reading of Maddie loses a tooth at the
He had
park
to have it
at the
pulled.
park
He was having
cafe.
tooth
Yeah,
work
yeah.
done.
And he was having tooth work done, and he goes, Ace, I think your next book should be Papa Loses a Tooth. And he smiles, and he's
got a
missing one of
tooth
his
Got
front
a
teeth.
tooth. So we take.
I got
picture.
pictures of it.
I was like, oh my
We'll
god.
put it in the show notes.
Oh my god, it's so
Papa
funny.
loses a
It's
tooth.
so funny.
It
But
was.
I think my mom was worried because they both thought I was blindsided. So
Like
I think,
you, yeah, they didn't realize you were kind of in on the joke, not totally, but
Yeah.
you were at least told up front, hey, just go with
Yeah,
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and honestly, I have 3 daughters, and if I was in that situation as your father was,
Yeah.
I would be the same way.
Yeah, and I think he was kind of
Yeah.
trying to go for the joke, and then I think once he saw the gasps and people, like he's like, I guess that was.
I'm
not
going to be
good.
more hated
And-
than I
yeah.
already am.
And my youngest daughter, her boyfriend, that they have a house together and everything like that.
Living in sin, are they?
Yeah,
Yeah, they are. Whatever.
Isn't that?
He got her out of the house, so
Yeah.
he's my hero.
I do have a good story. I do have a good story.
All right.
Go for it. I was
See,
just
we
going to
knew.
say,
Tell you finish it.
I
Sorry, I
would not
interrupted
be
you.
surprised if he did something like that, because he's very quiet, but he has a very dark sense of humor.
Yeah.
So I would not be shocked if that happened at some point. And in a small way, I'd appreciate the humor of it, but in another way,
You'd be
I'd
pissed.
be
Yeah,
pissed.
exactly.
Because
yeah.
if it hurt your daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd be stuck in that kind of
right.
duality. But go
Exactly.
ahead with your story.
I'll forget, but I was moving, so I left my condo to move when Brian and I got married to move into the boonies. So I
The middle of the woods with the
exactly.
ice heaves.
I'm going back and forth. It's raining. It's the summer. I'm going back and forth moving. Now he had to go to bed at a certain time, so I was like, well, just go to bed and hopefully I'll be done soon because he had to get up for the show. So I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Probably like my 6th trip. I'm like, oh my god. So finally, I'm done. I bring everything into the house. Now, at that point, he had cats. So I went to go bring the last box in, and the cat came out. So I took the cat. I'm like, Jesus. And I like threw the cat in, and I shut the door. And then I realized, oh my God.
I remember this.
My purse and my keys and everything is in the house, and it's locked. And I don't have.
And you're outside?
I don't have a key. I'm in the breezeway, which is like.
Do you remember this?
No.
It was pouring rain out. I had like a tank top and shorts on. Now I'm cold. I can't get in my car. I can't call anybody. So then I'm like MacGyvering, trying to like throw rocks at his window. And you can hear him where the breezeway is, his bedroom. And you hear like he's snoring. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm stuck here. It's like 12 and he doesn't get up till 4. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? So then I'm like, I can't sleep. What am I going to do? I can't get in my car. It's locked. So this is great. So I'm trying to knock on doors, trying to get in. I'm like, can I break in somewhere? I can't do that. So I ended up finding like this 1920 box spring. It's just got 2 panels of wood and like this thin sheet. So I'm like, I'm just going to lay on that. And I had a sweatshirt, so I kept switching between the top and the bottom because I was freezing and soaking wet, crying a lot.
A lot.
And then I hear his alarm at whatever time it
4.
was. And he comes downstairs and he can hear me like doing this knocking thing, like crying and knocking. And then he opens up. He's like, what? I'm like, I locked myself out of the house and it's cold. And he's like, oh my God, well, thank you for giving me. He goes, are you all right? First he checked on me. You all right? Thanks for giving me some
material for the show.
I'm like, are you kidding me? And then he proceeded to tell me, he goes, why don't you have a blanket? He goes, there's all blankets and stuff in this closet. I had no idea. So then he went and took it to the air and made a big to-do about...
Welcome to being married to a radio
that
man.
was that I was like, don't you come home. Like I might not move in now. Like that was, and I could hear the cat, meowing at me, like
taunting you.
Yeah, a little black cat.
I'm inside.
Yeah,
You're outside.
Thanks for throwing me inside.
I've
It's
been
warm in here.
moving
So
for like
warm.
2 full days.
Cat's looking out through the window. It's so hot in here.
Yeah. Cat's like,
snuggled up in a blanket.
yeah. Cat's like,
yeah. Yeah.
oh, this feels so good.
Yep. Nope.
Between him snoring and the cat purring.
I could hear him snoring. That was the worst part of it all. And I'm just like, this.
What am I getting into? If I can hear it out here in the breezeway, what's it going to
Seriously.
be like when I'm in there?
I'm literally trying to throw rocks at the window, trying to get him. Yeah.
He's not hearing the rocks over the
No,
snoring.
he's not hearing it.
Oh,
But when he was ever like, thanks for giving me stuff. I was looking for like some kind of thing for the show today. I'm like,
I found my show open.
I like
Let
how
me
she
tell
goes,
you about
he
Carla
did check
today."
on me, okay,
Yeah,
if I'm okay
first.
first. But then he immediately said, thanks for giving me stuff for
Well,
the
it's
show.
like when one of your good friends falls. First you go, are you okay? And
And
as
then
soon
you
as they
start
say they're
laughing.
okay, you start
You
laughing
start
your ass off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mary Ellen did it to me.
You start laughing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how many
So-
years have you guys been married now?
It'll be 10 on the end of September. It'll be 10 years.
10 years.
September what?
28th.
And
We should do something special.
And at 1 year, he
Like,
said, well,
ask
this
for
is
a
it.
Jack and Diet.
Yeah. This is it.
So you guys have already beat the odds.
Yeah. We've
So-
been, yeah.
I'll call you that day and I'll say, hey, would you get me a Jack and Diet?
Click. Yeah. But it's funny because I will go places. That's kind of the creepy thing is I'll go places and people will see
from
videos,
radio, yeah.
and they're like, I can answer one of 2 ways. Usually I answer one of 2 ways. They're like, oh, are you Carla? Are you Brian? And I'm like, well, it depends.
Yeah.
If he
Do
saved,
you like him?
If he saved babies out of a burning building, yes, I do know him. If he talked bad about you and upset you, then no, I have no idea who he is. I go either way.
or
I
if
know
he
either way.
talked shit about me on the radio,
Yeah.
then no.
No, I don't know who
Yeah,
he is. Yeah,
I divorced
I
him
did.
years ago.
So yeah.
If they found his body, no.
No. Yeah, right.
I'm not her.
If you happen to have a farm and lime,
Yeah.
then yes.
Yeah. Well, that was the one thing that was the one thing I had to get used to is your life is just
Totally
out
different.
there.
Yeah, right.
And
Well, especially because
he's got no filter either.
because think about it. Their job is to write funny stuff and entertain an audience.
Correct.
And so
Every
if
day.
they think something
Every
that happens
day.
at home is entertaining, it's going to end up on the,
Yeah.
Well, listen, my ex used to get so pissed when I had the jokes about my wife. You remember?
I loved them. I loved them.
I used to do jokes about how my wife, I was like, oh, I found the key to happiness. Key to happiness, find a younger woman.
I
Best
remember
thing
that.
about a younger woman, no baggage. Well, maybe one was a Hello Kitty knapsack, but it was really cute the way she wore it to the bus stop.
Hey,
She hated
I
that.
did
She's
my
like-
time.
Yeah.
I've told people that joke. I said my buddy Ace tells the joke, and I've told people.
I'm
that.
like,
I love
don't
it.
groan. I paid my dues. 4 long years I was the ice cream man in front of that school.
Oh my God.
It's so
Oh, yeah.
bad.
I-
But listen, it's obviously so over the top.
Yeah.
But she used to hate that. And she'd be like, because I'm sitting right there in the back.
Yeah.
They saw me walk in with you. Everyone's turning around looking at me when you're doing that joke.
Right.
And I get it. But I also needed to make people laugh.
know.
And that's the
I
that's
used to have
the
a-
conundrum that you're in.
Yeah.
I used to have a
You know?
couple of jokes that if my wife was in the audience, I didn't do if she was there.
Right.
Because
Oh, yeah.
and when we're in our hometown, where people that
Know
know
her,
her,
right.
I won't do
Yeah.
even to this day. Because people will, she's had people go up to her afterwards, going, "Oh my God, is this true?" And it's like
It's so
my
over the
God.
top. How fucking stupid
So
are you that you
I-
believe this
Well-
shit?
You know,
Like I really cruised fucking middle schools to find my wife. At least high school, Carla. Stop looking at me like that.
Yeah, the
No.
middle schools are now that he's single.
No, are you kidding? No, are you kidding? A couple of years ago, I was covering URI, for work at the health center.
Well, it took him a minute to say for work.
But I was driving through, and I'm like, they all look like kids.
I know.
Oh, it's scary.
They look like little kids. Like, especially now that my kids are, Mike is 18, Sam is 20. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
my
Now,
young,
a good 40-year-old, hey, all bets are off, Dame.
my youngest is finishing up at Rick.
Yeah.
She's in her final semester right now. She had 2 classes left, so she's extra half a semester.
I know that feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't we know that?
But about a year or so ago, I was in the area, and I said, "Hey, I'll meet you for lunch." So I went to the campus.
Yeah.
And I'm driving around. I'm like, they look like high school students.
They look like high school students
They
walking
look
around, right?
like high school students.
Yeah.
It's scary how young they look. And my niece, my godchild, is a senior in high school this year, looking at colleges, and I'm like, she still looks like she's in 8th grade. to me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
And I remember, I think about when I was like a sophomore in high school, and the seniors on the football team, they look like college football
Right.
Yes,
Yeah, they were so
exactly.
big.
And last Friday night, I went to the high school football game, and they look like kids.
Right.
It's true though.
You know, it's weird the
It is.
dynamic how it's changed as your age has changed.
Look at your yearbook
it's
compared
so
to what it is
weird.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was thinking about that today because we've talked about that before, and I've seen it on the internet before where people talk about, holy shit, like look at a 50-year-old back in the 70s and then us at 50, 55. They look so old. You know what it was? It wasn't their faces. It was because, think about us. We're holding on to hairstyles from 20 years ago,
I know.
not 30 years ago, but 20. We're not holding on to the mullets. Well, some of us have hair to hold a style.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, but they were holding on to the styles from when they were younger.
Yeah.
So in the 70s, they were holding on to styles from the 40s.
Yeah.
Or the 50s.
Yeah, but plus they didn't have filters. Like
Right.
now, everybody's
Oh,
got
everyone.
a filter.
I don't
and-
filter. I
I
don't filter
either.
shit.
It's just like,
Whatever, this is me.
whatever, This is it.
Take it or
I'm
leave it.
screwed. Yeah, that's it.
No, but people's health has changed.
It has.
no.
We
You know,
do
things
look
like
a little
that.
bit younger,
Yeah.
but I think part of it is the hairstyles.
Yeah. That's true too.
That makes a
Perms.
difference. Perms, right.
Perms.
Yeah, who the fuck gets a perm nowadays?
Remember when men?
Mullets are coming back, though.
Hey.
Yeah.
As long-
Get ready, Brian. We're growing them out.
Quiet mullets.
Yeah.
Remember when
Quiet mullets.
Quiet mullets.
late 70s when men were getting perms?
Oh, yeah.
My
Yeah.
father and one
Had
of his
a
brothers
perm.
had perms, and
Yes.
I'm like, I look back at old pictures like that. I'm like, what were you?
The worst
thinking?
was it was your mom or her girlfriend who was doing the
Yes.
perm, and that
At the
nasty
house.
ass skunky smell that used to permeate
whole
the
house.
entire house,
It's-
while your father was sitting there with a fucking towel around his neck.
He had the
right?
plastic bib
Yeah,
all
right.
around him, and he had all those things in his hair, getting a perm, and then he'd go to the construction site the next day with his perm. It's like, seriously?
And it smelled. I used to have like long hair in the 90s. I got the spiral perm because my hair was so thick and like Epstein from Welcome Back Cotterish.
Hey, you're
Mr.
gonna die.
Carter.
You're gonna crack up,
I
right?
have a letter from my mother. I had to get a
Ooh,
double.
ooh, Mr.
Let us
Carter.
finish your story.
It's not that big of a.
I don't do that many impressions. Let me try to do the ones I do, like really like a quarter good.
Go ahead.
I had to get a double perm, and it
Double
smelled.
perm?
Yeah, it was double spiral.
Got it at home.
Perm.
Ooh,
I know I had someone do it for
was
me.
it like a Cindy Brady?
There was no Cindy.
Baby talk, baby talk. Get the wonder you come on.
Girl, look what you've done to me.
I'm president of the Davy Jones fan club.
Girl.
I am.
We literally, she'll text me shit.
Oh my God,
She texts me stuff all the time of like
the monkeys.
the monkeys, the Brady Bunch. We're gonna keep on.
Anything
We'll
like
sing
keep
gifts
on
back and forth.
dancing all
Yeah.
through
Jesus.
the night.
Oh, the Jesus picture
Anything
is
with
still
Jesus.
infamous. Me, It's her and her brother in front of a Jesus statue at Fatima Hospital, and they're like, and their mom can't stand it. So
my father was having surgery, and it was
And that's
taking
what
a
you
long
thought to
time.
do outside.
Yes.
So we walked around and
found
of
the
course,
chapel.
We found this statue of Jesus, and he's in front of the bathrooms, and he's doing this. So we're like, go in peace, either one, man, woman. And then my brother and I were taking selfies in front of all the statues. And my mother's like, you guys have been gone for an hour. What have you been doing? So we took her. She's like, oh my God, your father's in surgery and you're taking pictures with Jesus. I'm like, wow.
So you know that
Time.
that picture on the internet with Jesus pointing and
Yes.
winking?
Yeah.
I send that to her mom on her birthday every year. I go, Jesus says, happy birthday, Mary.
She loves it. She
does.
secretly loves it. She loves it.
She does.
All right. Well, I think we've accomplished what we set out to do this evening.
Yeah, we talked
that's
a
for
little
sure.
shit about Brian, but
we got to
also
know
got
Carla.
to know Carla. I mean, that we let the audience get to know Carla a little bit better.
Yes, absolutely. Now, as far as I definitely want to put out there, Izzy Foundation, a great
Absolutely.
foundation.
Thank
If
you.
people want to make a donation or something like that, where would they go?
They can go obviously right on the website. It's the izzyfoundation.org. It's everything is so everything is there for you. All the events.
Yeah.
We have a great event coming up in October. We have our gala, and if you want to make a donation, it's something simple as even a donation drive. So if you have water, snacks like toothbrushes, toothpaste, that's like golden to us. It means so much.
Yeah.
So
So those parents, like you said, they're stranded at the
They-
hospital for weeks on
Right.
end.
exactly, and they need it. So it's totally, yeah.
I will put the link in the show notes. So anybody listening tonight, just go to the show notes, click on the link, just take a look for information. What they do is absolutely amazing for the people that are there, and it means the world to these people. And like she said, some of those simple items, any type of donation you can make is a world of difference to the people that really need it. So,
And
greatly
I
appreciate
don't
it.
want to force it too early, but are you guys ready to? I'm being serious.
Okay, sorry.
Are you?
I know it's hard to tell.
is.
It's hard
You
to
never
tell.
know.
I don't want to force it too early, but
Would you
know,
give
if
me-
we have
A diet and Jack.
Yeah. Would you get me a Jack and Diet? If someone from out of the Rhode Island area is interested in working with the Izzy Foundation to get an Izzy room in the local hospital, are you guys at the point now yet to be able to accept that help? Like, I don't know, someone may be listening in Philadelphia and say, you know what? Children's Hospital Philadelphia, this would be such a great thing for their,
We are always up for a conversation. I know Tina and Kyle
Okay.
eventually would love to be doing something
at
like
CHOP
that.
or
Absolutely.
at Boston Children's
Yeah.
Hospital,
Yeah.
start small.
Yeah, we would like to. I mean,
Hartford Children's.
Right, right.
yeah. The one thing is we're I'm the only full-time person.
Right,
Else
everyone
is
else is part-time.
But there's so much potential to grow. And I will say, after COVID, a lot of businesses kind of realigned what they're going to be giving. And I think other places I've worked for, I'm kind of able to say where the money goes, but it's tough because it's from the top down, so you don't really know.
Right.
Here, you're like, we have people that have donated meals that actually can come in and serve the meals, and Ace was there. You
Yeah.
can see how much something like that makes the family's
It's
day.
getting to the actual people who need it.
Right.
That was one of my and not to go down a rabbit hole, but when I was on the board of the not your old organization, but the other organization I was part of, that was one of the things that I kept pushing for as a board member is why can't we get a card that literally says a pie chart? Most organizations are over 10% goes towards administrative costs for the organization. And ours was less than that. And I'm like, we need to get something out so that when people know, okay, 90 cents of every dollar that you give to
Right,
the organization
actually goes
is
to-
going to the actual families
Right.
and the patients who need it.
Right.
And that's what's great about Izzy Foundation is because it is so local, because it's small, because you don't, again, nothing against the national organizations, but it is kind of like the mafia where you got to kick up to the, the boss. You don't have to do that with the Izzy Foundation. You know what I mean?
It's great. And, we've had so many, young students now, like college kids and high school
Yeah.
kids, and
Come
really
and help.
Like what we dealt with last year. That was so much
It was
fun.
so much
and
fun.
we-
Those
They were
kids were
great.
so
Yeah.
into it.
It's exciting. We built
Yeah.
a new campaign off of that.
Off of
We've
that,
got
yeah.
almost 10, now almost 10 students that want to do it.
These are college.
College and high
Yeah.
school.
Oh, and high
Oh,
school.
and high school. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
So we're
That's
really
so
excited
cool.
about it. Yeah, no,
Good.
it's great.
It's
So-
funny because Maddie was actually asking, like, well, what would I have to do? You know, so
She should. She still has time.
yeah, all right. We'll talk after the show.
After the show.
As our friend Skip Daniels would say, we'll talk after
the show. But Carla, thank you so much.
Thank you, and
We
hopefully the door's
love
not
having
locked.
you on.
Hopefully Brian didn't lock the door.
No.
He's not all.
Just
annoyed.
throw some rocks
I'll
and
throw some
lay on a
rocks.
Throw some
lay on a
rocks at the
mattress.
window, and you know where the blankets are
That's
this
right.
time.
Now you know where
That's
the
right,
blankets
Dame.
are,
You
right?
know where the blankets are. But guys, I hope you
Yeah,
enjoyed
thank
that. Ace and I have been looking forward to this one for a while, so I really, really enjoyed this. So
Yeah, it was fun.
yeah. it
And
was
you
fun.
were like, "Oh my God, what am I going to say? How am
Well,
I
I was
going to?
like,
How long am I going to be on?"
I did say.
I don't
will
know,
say,
an hour and 20 minutes.
An
I
hour
know.
and 20 minutes.
because you guys have very funny comedians on, and then you got me.
Yeah, but you're funny because
You're interesting, you're funny, you're
the way you
enjoyable.
how am I funny? The way you tell the stories, you know.
You know,
Carla,
just
you
the way
know,
you
tell them.
Carla,
the
the
way
way
I
you
talk?
tell them.
Yeah.
You know, the way you talk.
I don't know. What's so fucking
No,
funny?
you said it.
You said it.
I will say
Yeah.
the funny thing that we say about Ace, and I feel bad because all of the people that you've impersonated with me died.
I know. Oh,
we
believe
were
me,
talking
we've
about that
talked
last
about it.
week.
He would call anywhere I work. He would call, and I would answer, and I would immediately start laughing. Everyone would Ace. Even now, I'm on the phone.
Yes, hello,
Yeah.
is this the Izzy
And they're like,
Foundation?
are you talking to Ace? I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
But now,
because
no,
she starts laughing. They're all dead. I know.
They're all dead.
But you can make believe they're alive.
I can. Like that
Yeah.
thing that's going to come to life over there.
Yeah, like the Pee Wee Herman doll.
I'm sorry. It's very freaky.
I'm sorry. You know what I should have done? I should have turned the heads towards her before the show started. That would have been
horrifying.
funny.
That would, yeah, really
Pee Wee
funny.
staring at you the whole time.
I've seen better heads on a pile.
Especially the ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah.
What do you like
yeah.
best
Is that what
I'll
that
show you.
is?
Yeah, I'll show you that after the show.
After the show.
All right,
Right.
folks. Listen, thank you so much, Carla, for being on.
Thanks for
thank
having
you.
me.
I don't know. I didn't see a ton of comments from Brian. Only that
know.
one. So maybe he was like, I can't listen. I gotta get off.
He jumped out early. You know.
Probably.
He had to go look up some deaths, celebrity deaths.
Yeah. Right.
You know, some volcanic destruction of an island
Yeah.
somewhere.
Just to
a crashing stock market.
just to
you
cheer
know.
himself up.
He looked up bankruptcy records, you
Yeah.
know, stuff like that. Something to brighten up his
Brighten
night.
up his day.
Yeah,
a
Exactly.
little bit.
Yeah.
I know. No, listen, folks.
Something
Thanks
like
so
that.
much
Thank
for listening.
you.
We really appreciate it. Tell a friend about us. 5-star written review. Buy me a coffee, which is buy me a bourbon, basically, because
Yeah.
we ain't drinking coffee on this show.
No, fuck that.
Again, next week we have some. We're doing one of those there. That's what she said.
You
Yeah, I kind of went into it. I know.
you went into Norm, which I love.
That's what she said. We've got two newer comics on the Rhode Island comedy scene, Lauren Sims and Joanna Raposa. They're going to be on and talk about what it's like breaking into the comedy scene in Rhode Island and New England currently. And then we start Scottober. We've got-
Yippee-ki-yay, Father Mucker.
We've got Ken DaCosta coming on. We've got some of the folks from Ghost Hunters coming on. We've got our buddy Tony Moschetto at the end of like the last show. It took us 7 years to get him on, and he finally comes on,
And
and
then
now
an
we're
hour and
having
a
him
half
on.
in.
Yeah, an hour and a half in, he starts talking about how he's wicked into UFOs, and we're like, we do a whole month of paranormal.
Oh, my God.
But we've never done UFO. We've always focused on like spirits and hauntings and stuff. So he's going to be coming back on for a show to talk about UFOs and UFO Con and stuff like that. And then we've got Cody and Satori coming on, and then it starts November, and we'll be back into the best of funny bad gigs and holidays and shit like that.
What a
and
year it's been. For
Where did
this
this
is
year
good.
go?
crazy.
This is going to be a good best of this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been
So
quite a year. But check out our friends at the Mixtape Podcast.
yes,
those
love
guys
those guys. That
put out
episode came out today.
a great podcast. Our episode that we did with them last week to celebrate the life of Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman. We did last week. We did kind of fall off the tracks at one point and go a
You
little
think?
crazy, but it was so much fun with those
was.
guys. It
I
was
love
such a fun episode. Check them out, and I think that wraps it up.
Is that okay? So I should say, other than that. Oh wait, Brian.
Oh, no.
He's still watching.
Uh-oh.
He goes, "F you both. I still love her." Oh, we should see.
No, the true question is, does she still love him?
After this episode, I don't know. Actually, he wasn't here to piss you off.
True.
You told every one of those stories. in a
Don't
very
worry,
calm
Brian.
way,
Without interruption, without any.
and without feeling more pissed off.
Don't worry, Brian. We took care of your dame. That's right.
That's right.
We took her for a spin around the town.
Oh boy. Anyway, no, listen, folks. Other than that, we will talk to you
Next week.